Howdy everyone. Hope everybody had a good Christmas break and Happy New Year's Eve. Let's talk about money. As you can read by the title, I'm over $100,000 in debt, and that's no joke. That's a lot of money for anybody. And in this video, I'm going to explain kind of how I live comfortably with that debt and what I do about it, some tips maybe on saving, and how to combat a debt like that. Now, as a disclosure, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It's just information I'm giving out. I'm not responsible for what you do with your money or how you handle your financial stability. So that's just a small disclosure I have. But as you guys know, I am the Domino's man or Domino's boy. I don't know. Um, I'm the Domino's delivery driver, and that's my main job. I've been doing it for a long time, so I understand the timing of when to go into that job and to min-max my hours there. I actually don't work that much at Domino's. I only work about maybe 20 to 25 hours a week at Domino's, which is very little for a lot of people. And the reason I can do that is it's a restaurant business, so we have this thing called rush. If you're not from the US, rush is basically the time of day where most people, like the general public, come together and eat at a restaurant. And for us, it's between like 3 o'clock to maybe, I don't know, like late evening, maybe like 8 or 9 o'clock is usually when rush ends. So I spend all my time just focusing on rush, just going to work at that time. There's a lot of diminishing returns if you work earlier than rush or later than rush. It's just not really worth it. You don't get paid as much. The tips just aren't there, so I never really do that. I also never really work more than I'm expected to. I don't do any extra work because these types of jobs don't really require that, and also you don't really get paid anything extra or get any rewards for that, so it's not really worth doing. But I do have very flexible hours. Basically, I can choose whenever I want to work, so it's really nice. I could take a day off if I want to, or I can move my schedule around willy-nilly. It doesn't really matter. And it's great because I get paid for mileage, hours, and tips. Now, small disclosure for restaurant business, if you're ever thinking of doing any type of like waitressing or, I don't know, anything in a restaurant, don't get abused by your employer. It's very easy for your employer to just tell you to work certain hours, go back on their word about flexible days that you can work or not. People try, coworkers can try to always bombard you with like, hey, can you pick up my shift here and there? It's really good to just like be very cut dry at these types of jobs so you don't get abused and so you're not wasting your time, not making as much money as you could be, or just like, not allocating more time making less money where you could be allocating that time to do other things, like another job, for instance, like me. So my second job is a after-school program where I teach kids how to code. We do a lot of technological lessons like programming drones, we do robotics, we do pixel art, we do like artistic stuff. I've done video editing with them and making videos like for YouTube, which is really cool, and all sorts of other things. And it's a very temporary job, sadly, because it doesn't give a lot of hours because it's after school. After school is only like an hour, so I can't work, 20 hours for after school a week. That doesn't really work that way, but it pays super well, and I'm hoping to expand its opportunities, maybe get a promotion and get more hours some way or somehow. But for the meantime, it's a good backup source of income because it's guaranteed money. I'm not, hoping on tips or anything. And it fills the gaps of the main job for Domino's in case I have a bad day. So it's another good source of income. And with both jobs, they give me a lot of free time. As you can tell, I don't work a lot. So I can work on things like YouTube, for instance, and make YouTube videos. And hopefully that could be like my tertiary job so I can get paid for making YouTube videos, which would be awesome. But I've been just doing it for fun, and it's fine if it never really takes off. I just enjoy it for what it is. It's always good to have your eggs in more than one basket. So, spread your wealth, spread your income, and it'll come back to you. Other alternative jobs I found are mentioned by Amari. If you've never heard of Amari before, he's a great COD commentary YouTuber. I love his videos. They're so real. They're great. And he talks a lot about his different types of jobs that he's worked. He has a lot of contract type of jobs where you guys might be more interested rather than doing like restaurant business stuff like how I do. And he uses this website, I think, called InstaWork. There's a video that he did a while ago that I'll link in the description down below. You should go check it out. But he's a great resource for those types of things if you guys are interested in that. Now, half of handling my debt is working, but the other half is saving, and it's really good to make a habit of saving your money. I don't go out and shop a lot, so I don't spend a ton of money on things that I want or splurge or anything like that, but it's always good to look for deals on things that you do need, so you're not spending as much on, necessities. I always split my bills and rent with roommates. I've never lived by myself, so if you ever are considering moving out and living on your own, I would probably highly recommend that you live with someone, especially someone you know. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run and a lot of financial stability. When you don't have a secure income, has to come with some type of sacrifice. So if you're not making enough money to live on your own, you have to sacrifice something like living with someone else to secure yourself with a place of living. Otherwise you can't live anywhere. Now, like I said before, saving is a huge habit to create and gives you a lot of freedom to spend money without compromising your financial well-being. And one way I save is I use an app called Upside. I mainly use it for gas because it gives you great gas deals, but it's also good for food deals as well. And it gives you all sorts of type of deals. Some are good, some are bad. You never know depending on the day, but it's free, it's easy to use, and it's a great way of just saving a little bit of extra money. Now, it's good to be diligent about the money that you get when it comes in from your paychecks. So, to keep it simple, I have a checkings account and a savings account at my bank, and throughout the month, I store every cent I can towards rent, amenities, and debt throughout the beginning of the month. And then whatever's left over is money that I either save or I use for spending. So, let's say, it's the third week of the month and I've already covered all my expenses. I now have the rest of the month to make money to save towards my savings account and also to spend towards food, gas, necessities that I need that are daily. Now, you want to save around 20% of that money that you make throughout the rest of the month and throw that into your savings account just to have for emergencies or future use. If you're finding yourself not having enough money to spend on food and that 20% is a little too high, you can lower it or you can raise it if you maybe have too much money and you're like, well, I just have a bunch of extra money left over and I don't really have anything to use it on. I've already bought my food or groceries or something for the month, so I don't really need that. So you can, raise that percentage, but I wouldn't go too high with it. Keep it fairly below maybe 40% or so, unless you're really comfortable and okay with saving that much money and you're working towards a big goal and you can do that. You are not compromising too much of your well-being and your sanity to save that much money. Now, one last thing you can try doing, and this is kind of the end-all be-all goal of this video. Once you have everything established that I've talked about before with your savings, your job security and all that, you can try doing investing. Now, I'm one of the least experienced people with investing. I don't know a ton about this topic, but I am interested in it and I am looking into it at the moment. I have never invested before. I don't know a ton about it, but someone that does know a lot and that I've learned from is Wylearn. He has a basics of investing for beginners and gamers. I know you guys are gamers out there, on how to invest and what goes into it. Now, we're not financial advisors. Again, this is a disclosure, so whatever you do with your money is up to you, but it's a good way of getting passive income, and that's just a way of gaining income without doing anything. You're just putting it somewhere and it gains interest over time. But it could also lose, money at the same time. So it's a risk reward type thing. I would highly recommend evaluating your situation, seeing if you're able to do something like that, and I would definitely give Wylearn's video a listen. I'm going to link it down with Amari's video in the description down below so you guys can go check that out. And that's pretty much all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something today. And, at the end of the day, I only wish the best for you guys and your financial stability. It's nice to have knowledge that you're secure in your living space and you have food to eat and all that. And I'm really trying to look out for some of you guys out there. I know a lot of people struggle. I'm semi-struggling myself, but at the same time, I feel like I'm living pretty comfortably with my situation. And honestly, if you don't even have any debt and you follow some of these tips and they work out for you, dude, you can make a great wealth for yourself. And there are plenty of other channels out there that do even just COD commentary that talk about these things on the daily. They do all sorts of financial advice that, could help out your situation. You just always gotta actively figure out what you're gonna do with your income and all that. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.